We will be recording this call so that we can make it available to those who weren't able to attend this morning. It's my pleasure to welcome you to our presentation, Answers to your PPP and SBA EIDL loan forgiveness questions. We're really excited to have with us this morning Catherine Gase from the SBA office, who will be leading us through both of these programs and then talking about the forgiveness portion. And then also we have reserved quite a bit of time to answer your questions as well, of which I know you probably have many. I did want to make a few announcements before we get started. First of all, you probably saw this email that came out, I think it was a little over a week ago now, but there are two new programs, grant programs that are available through Oakland County. The first one is the Oakland Together Small Business Recovery Grant Program, and we did a call last Thursday with Oakland County about this program that's available. There's also the Michigan Small Business Restart Program grant. This is money from the MEDC that came down to Oakland County. And you should have gotten these two emails that have direct links to how you can apply for those programs. We also, I wanted to mention, and this is a draft of an email that's going to go out a little bit later, but we are trying to collect as much information as we can from you, our members, and our non-members as well, all of our businesses actually in the community. The Rochester Regional Chamber will be embarking on developing a new strategic plan in August at our Board of Directors retreat. We are going to establish a strategic plan for the next 18 months. We're not going to do our traditional 5-year strategic plan, as we know that things are going to continue to change over the next year and a half, and your needs are going to continue to change. So we are just going to look 18 months out on what's critical for the Chamber to do now so that we can support you, our businesses, during this next year and a half. So what we are asking is that if you would take a moment, probably takes less than 5 minutes, to fill out our survey. We're calling it Share Your Ideas, Enhance Your Membership. And if you fill out the survey, we have some local leaders, CEOs, and local community leaders who have graciously agreed to have lunch with some lucky winners. So if you fill out the survey, your name will be entered into a drawing, and you could win lunch with the Honorable Judge Julie Nicholson. She's a judge with the 52nd 3rd District Court. You could win lunch with Mayor Brian Barnett in Rochester Hills. You could win lunch with Mayor Bixson in the city of Rochester. You could also win lunch with one of our wonderful community leaders and CEOs, Tom DeLuzin, who is President and CEO of Chief Financial Credit Union, Frank and Jason Rewald with Rewald and Sons, and also owners of the Royal Park Hotel, Paul Glantz from Imagine Theaters, or Mike Randolph at Par Pharmaceutical. So they have all graciously agreed to go and also pay for that as well for one of our winners. So when you get this email, please take a moment and fill it out. It's critical that we hear from you. We don't know what you need unless you tell us what you need. And it's so important right now, we know, to support our small businesses and all of our businesses in the community. So please take a moment to fill that out so we can do for you. I also wanted to make a quick announcement about our golf outing. As of right now, we are still holding our golf outing on Monday, August 17th at Great Oaks Country Club. It is sponsored by Sherry, as well as many other wonderful local businesses. And we're so excited to have this golf outing. It's the only fundraiser that the Chamber has all year. And at the end of the program, I'm going to ask, I know Maggie's on the call, I'll ask Maggie about the golf outing. So with that, I am going to stop sharing my screen. And I know that we have our presenter, Catherine Booth, with SBA here on the call with us. I'm going to allow her to share her screen. Catherine, are you there?
I'm here. Hi, Elena. Hi, everyone. Elena, my colleague Brian is trying to, he's called in, but he's on hold hearing music. So I'm not sure. So let me share.
I'm going to share yours. I'm going to make you the co-host so you can share the screen. Meanwhile, and then I will try and see why Brian is hearing music. Do you know what phone number he is? I can't identify him.
It would be a 616 area code.
I don't have a 616 area code listed.
Oh, okay. In the meantime, let me start sharing.
Yes, in the meantime, welcome, Catherine. We're so excited to have you with us today. We appreciate your time.
Oh, I'm happy to be here, and thank you. So let me share my screen and go into slideshow. Come on. Okay. All righty. Finally, here we go. Can everyone see? Can you see it okay, Elena? Oh, you're muted.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, super. Well, good morning, everyone. And again, thank you for joining us to present a couple of our loan programs. I'm going to talk about 3 programs this morning. One, everyone I know has heard of the Paycheck Protection Program, PPP. Also, I'll talk a little bit about our Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. We still have money available on that. And then I'll talk a little about SBA Debt Relief programs. So let's start off with a Paycheck Protection Program. First of all, let me just say that there is still money available for this program. There's over $100 billion available. There's all kinds of talk in Congress right now about the future of this program, whether it will continue, whether people can get a second loan. So everything is moving day by day, hour by hour. Things are changing. Many people at this point might be even ready to start doing the forgiveness process. Perhaps you've used the money and the forgiveness process can be started with your lender. So that's a good thing. To be eligible for this program, you have to have been in operation, up and running as of February 15th. Generally speaking, a small business is under 500 employees. However, depending on your industry and your North American Industrial Classification Code, NAICS code, you could have well over 500 up to, in some industries, in manufacturing industries, up to even 1,500 employees. In this program, tax-exempt nonprofits, which are 501c3s, and veterans organizations, 501c19s. Linda, we're getting some feedback. If you could mute your phone, Linda. Tribal concerns and sole proprietors, independent contractors, and the self-employed. The purpose, of course, is primarily to pay for your payroll, interest expense on a mortgage that you have in the business, or rent, or utilities, I should say, and. If you use at least 60% of your loan for payroll, it can be forgiven. The loans can go up to $10 million. We're offering, at this point, if your loan was made June 5th or after, a 5-year term with a 1% interest. At the beginning of this program, before some of the flexibility changes went into effect, it was a 2-year term. The loan payments are deferred, and I'll explain that when I talk about the Flexibility Act updates. In this program, there are no fees, no collateral, no personal guarantees. So that's also a really nice feature. You apply directly with your lender, or a lender that is a fintech, a non-financial, non-bank financial company. And you can look for a list of those lenders if you just go to SBA's website. And then you can see some sample documents too on our SBA website. And I can make this PowerPoint available to you as well. I'm just going to stop and, okay, Brian says he can't get in, but if I have any questions, just ask him, and I can just get him on the phone too. All right, just love technology. The Paycheck Protection Program Flexibility Act went into effect a number of weeks ago, and it does a number of things. One, it extends the loan maturity from 2 years to 5 years. So it really is going to help with making those payments on the part of the loan that may not be forgivable if you chose to use that loan for things other than what I mentioned: wages, mortgage interest, rent, and utilities. Loans made after or on or after June 5th will automatically have that 5-year term. If you got a PPP loan and it was before June 5th and you have a 2-year amortization, you can definitely have your loan officer amend the loan documents and give you that 5-year maturity, so you can take advantage of that. The Flexibility Act also extended the covered period, and I think that a lot of people may know this, but if you're still thinking about getting a PPP loan, again, money is still available. The Flexibility Act extended this from 8 weeks to 24 weeks after the loan is dispersed, or at the latest December 31st. So you have to use all the money by December 31st. At this point in time, like I said, things are changing rapidly. So this is what we know as of today. If you want, you can use the 8-week period. If you need to take it out the whole 24 weeks, you can do that too. And you can do it anywhere in between the 8 to 24 weeks. If you need 16 weeks or 18 weeks, you can elect to use it in that time period and then ask for forgiveness. The Flexibility Act also extended the deadline for rehiring employees who were laid off or whose salaries were reduced prior to April 26, 2020. So for the purposes of avoiding a reduction in loan forgiveness, you now have from June 30th to December 31st. The flexibility also creates what we call a safe harbor for those business owners who were not able to hire everyone back and fill the positions on or before December 31st of this year, or if you can't return to the level of business activity that you once had before February 15th because of compliance with either federal sanitation, social distancing, or worker or customer safety requirements. If you can't bring those employees back, that will not be counted against you. If you did your best in writing to ask them to come back and they were unable to, or you could not find qualified employees, you will not be charged against that for the forgiveness part. So that is also a real comfort. Again, just to sort of summarize the Flexibility Act, it increases the maturity to 5 years. If you had a loan that was done before June 5th and you want that 5-year amortization, you can go ahead and talk with your lender and get that loan amended. Now let's talk about the deferment period for loan repayment. Say part of your loan is not forgivable. So you have the date on which the amount of forgiveness is remitted by the SBA to the lender. So when you go through the forgiveness process and we forgive part of the loan and you still have a balance, that date or 10 months after the last day of the covered period, if you don't apply for forgiveness. So that's the deferment period. When SBA has remitted the money to your lender, that is how long you have to defer the repayment. In addition, June 30th, excuse me, I got to change this slide presentation. August 8th is the last day that your PPP can be approved. So if anyone is looking for some new money, I think I see Brian. Brian, are you on?
Yeah, guys, I'm here.
Excellent. That's fantastic. So you have until August 8th. Again, that's what we know today. Things, as I said, are moving rapidly, and who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. So I'm going to give you some contact information. You can always check back with us for the latest and greatest as things change and changes are made. So there is a new easy and a revised full forgiveness application for PPP. So the first application we put out was pretty, I would say, complicated. And so with the changes, it's a lot easier. If you are self-employed and have no employees, or you did not reduce the salary or wages of your employees by more than 25%, and you did not reduce the number of hours, or you experience reductions in business activity as a result of health directives related to COVID, but you did not reduce the salary or wages of your employees by more than 25%, you're eligible to use the either easy or the revised full forgiveness application. The easy application requires fewer calculations and less documentation for eligible borrowers. And both applications give you the option of using, as I said earlier, either the 8-week covered period or the extended 24-week covered period. And Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you choose to take longer for the covered period and use your money over a longer period of time, up to 24 weeks, that's nothing that you have to get approved by your lender, correct?
Yeah, for the most part, unless you got it early on, if you were one of the first to get it and the 24-week option was not out there,
Okay.
you were under the 8-week period, you have to go to your lender and just request an extension to the 24 weeks. But anybody that got it, and I don't have the date on me, but there's a date out there that if you got it after, then you don't have to request it from your lender.
All right, so did I get through PPP before I went out?
You were just at the end of it.
Okay, all right. So sorry, guys.
That's
Jeez,
all right.
thanks.
And when you want to take a break for some questions, do you want to take a couple questions first?
Absolutely. And Brian,
Okay.
are you on?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
But I'm only dialed in. I can't see anything, so.
That's okay. That's okay. All right. What are the questions we have?
Okay. One question. Is SBA processing forgiveness applications?
I don't think we have, Brian.
Starting August 10th,
Okay.
the
And
bank you'll work with your bank to get the forgiveness applications processed.
So you work through your bank to submit the forgiveness application, and they process it, or the SBA will process it?
Correct. They will process it.
Okay, so the bank will process. All right. If someone took a PPP as an IC, independent contractor,
Got it.
how do you disperse wages?
So, I mean, you just pay yourself how you normally would as an independent contractor.
Okay.
So if you give yourself, I don't know how they pay. They would pay themselves like they normally would, if that makes sense.
Okay. Someone says, I've heard the Bankers Association is lobbying to have PPP loans under $150,000 to be automatically forgiven. Do you know if that's something the SBA is considering so the burden on banks is lessened?
So certainly there's been talk about it. We see it on the news too. All we have up until this point is what we have, and it is not automatically processed for $150,000 as of yet.
Okay, I do have a call. I did put it in the chat box, but I have a call with Senator Peters later on this afternoon. He's one of our US senators, and this is a question that I will ask him. So thank you for typing that in the chat box. Let's see. I think that's all the questions we have so far. I thought that was a good point to answer what we had.
Absolutely.
And go ahead and take it away, Catherine. Are you able to
Okay.
share your screen?
Oh, can you not see it?
I
you
don't.
there?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't see it.
All right, let's see. Share my screen. Okay, here we go. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes, you can see it?
I cannot. Can you hear
Yes, I
me?
can see it.
Okay.
Pardon me? It says you are screen sharing. Does anyone see it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I can see it.
could.
too.
Okay. All right, well, why don't I go through this and then we'll make the slide presentation available to you. Sounds like some people can and some people can't, so I'm not sure. So let me start or continue on with the economic injury disaster loan. This loan program is around during non-COVID times when there's a physical disaster, and oftentimes the agency will make available economic injury disaster loans. During COVID, every county in the country is eligible to apply. There is money still in the program. We don't know how much. We don't know how long this will be available, but we stopped it for a while, opened it up to just agricultural businesses, and then reopened it to any small business or those listed here. So we have small businesses are eligible, agricultural businesses are eligible, small agricultural cooperatives, small aquaculture businesses, and most nonprofit organizations. The interest rates on this program for small business is 3.75%, and for nonprofit organizations, it's 2.75%. You can use the money a little bit differently than EIDL, where the majority, of PPP, the majority of that program would be, the intent was to use it for wages and salaries. For EIDL, you can make your fixed debt payments. You cannot refinance long-term debt, so be careful of that. You can use it for payroll, accounts payable, other bills. These are working capital loans. The whole purpose of the loan program is to keep the business open. And so you have a little bit more flexibility, I would say, than the PPP program.
Oh, I'm frozen out.
Uh-oh, I'm so sorry. Continuing on, the economic injury disaster loan terms. If the loan is under $25,000, no collateral is required. If it's more than $25,000, we will take collateral. We prefer real estate. If assets in the business are insufficient, we'll look to personal assets, such as your home. We'll take a second, third, fourth lien position on your residence. Lack of collateral is not a reason for decline. So if everything else looks good, you can show repayment ability, your credit is decent, you don't have enough collateral, that's not a reason why we'll decline the loan. So that's the scoop on the EIDL program. Again, it's still available.
Kathy, can I just add a couple things on that?
Please, yes.
So the only way that you can't use the disaster loan is, for instance, you could use it to make your monthly mortgage or mortgage payment, but you can't use it to restructure debt. So say you had an outstanding mortgage of, $150,000 on a building at 6%, and you got a disaster loan of $150,000 at the 3.75, you can't take that entire sum and pay the mortgage off, essentially refinancing it. You can make the monthly payments on it, but you can't restructure the debt with it.
Really important point. Thanks, Brian. So we also have been offering, since almost the beginning of COVID, what we call our debt relief program. So if you have a current SBA loan, whether it's a regular 7(a) guaranteed loan, maybe it's a 504 loan that you use to purchase or construct a building, or for our smaller businesses, if you have an existing SBA microloan through either seed lending or through another SBA backed micro lender, you're eligible to have the debt relief program applied, as well as if you are attempting to get a new 504 or a 7(a) or a microloan between March 27th and September 26th of this year, you're also eligible. The loan specifics, meaning the size of the loan, the interest rate, terms, fees, use of proceeds, the collateral, that is all determined by what loan program you're looking at, whether it's 504, 7(a), or microloans. And what does debt relief mean? It means that we're going to cover your principal and interest and any fees for 6 months. So it's not a deferral. We will be making those payments. Your personal guarantee is required, and you would apply with a lender that participates in the loan program. So if you have a microloan with seed lending, for example, our micro lender that serves the Oakland County area, you would contact seed lending, and they more than likely have got in touch with you at this point anyways. I've worked with a number of borrowers who they were automatically enrolled in that. Brian, do you want to speak to that? Is that kind of a case-by-case basis to whether the participating lender will reach out automatically, or do you have to contact them?
Yeah, no, it should be done automatically.
Okay.
And I think it's an important thing to start talking about now, especially with this debt relief, is, you know, at some point the COVID relief money, things like PPP and disaster and other options that are out there will transition out of those and have to get back to traditional or more traditional lending sources. So I think if you are looking for, you may need more capital to get through some of the challenges you're having with your business, it's a good time to look at traditional SBA funding like 7(a) or 504, because if you do have that need for capital, you're going to get 6 months of payments made for you initially as if you take a new loan.
Excellent point. And it's important to start that process now. And I'll talk about some of our resource partners that can help you through that decision-making process and that analysis of your cash flow and your ability to repay before you make that appointment with the lender. They can help you with that, our business consultants. I say that because the loan, not only do you have to apply, it has to be dispersed or funded by September 27th. So again, Brian and I can help you through that process, connect you with the right business consultants. And I'll speak to that in just a minute. And for more information, you can just go to our website. Speaking of our consulting resources, I love this slide because it just kind of captures everything that we're doing. All of our funded resource partners, that includes our Small Business Development Center network, which is, all these are funded by SBA. The SBDC has 11 regional offices all over the country. We have 3 SBA funded women's business centers. SCORE there are 7 locations. These are former and current business owners or leaders in industry that volunteer their time to mentor you through this process and moving forward. And then for any veterans, we have a wonderful Veterans Business Outreach Center that serves the whole state. What I want to say is that through the CARES Act, these resources have received significant funding to add additional consultants on subject matter experts, people that are experts in financial analysis or HR or marketing, social media, moving to an online platform. So the consultants that are on staff all the time are some are specialists, most are generalists, but now we're kind of diving deeper into what a business owner needs and really hiring that expertise. All of our consulting services are never, there's never a charge for the consulting or the mentoring services. And right now they're also, all of them are conducting really topical webinars on things like re-entering the marketplace or bringing employees back, just things that are just very topical and relevant to what you all are going through right now. So the contact information is listed. They're all really dedicated and committed to helping their business owners survive this pandemic. So we can stop for questions, but I just want to point out that if you sign up for our updates at sba.gov/updates, it's a great place to go to. You will get information from both the Michigan SBA District Office and our national office on things that are available, new programs, what have you. That's a great place to sign up. You can also follow us on Twitter. If you have questions after this and you need some guidance, reach out to us. Michigan at SBA.gov is really the best place, but you can certainly call us too. Our phone system has been in a little bit of a flux lately. We're sorting through that, so I would strongly advise Michigan at SBA.gov. You know, we try to get back with you in a relatively short manner so that you're not left holding. If anyone has an EIDL loan or an EIDL application pending, the disaster loan servicing, the customer service center is taking phone calls or email messages. They're processing, they have 10 million applications. You can't even imagine. It's just kind of mind blowing. And if you can email them at disastercustomerservice@sba.gov. You could call them at 800-659-2955, 800-659-2955. Those are two ways to get a hold of them. It might take some time. Try to be patient. If you really can't get in touch with anyone, send us a message at michigan@sba.gov and we'll see if we can escalate it up. The disaster office just recently instituted a new procedure. Instituted a new procedure where every district office in the country has someone that they can escalate EIDL questions to. So don't hesitate to give us a call. And with that, that brings me to the end of the presentation. I see that I'm still on. So Brian and I are happy to answer any questions if there are any, Elena.
And then she's got,
Hey,
okay.
hi.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Maggie, if you could ask the questions. This is Elena. I totally got frozen out.
Oh, no.
But you could still hear me, but I couldn't mute myself. I couldn't do anything. So I'm on my phone now.
Okay.
So Maggie, if you could ask the questions through the chat, that would be great.
I definitely can. Okay, so we have a question from Vince Matina from Matina Kenton Gibbons. He's interested to know if you sign up for the 20-week program and funds are spent after 10 weeks, do you have to wait to seek forgiveness? Is the FTEs calculated at the end of 10 weeks, or do you have to wait until the end of the full 24 weeks?
No, so you can apply for forgiveness at any point. Well, once they start taking applications on the 10th, at any point within that 24-week period, once the funds are exhausted. And then your FTE count would be the count you used when you applied.
Okay, the next question is from Marie Jakubiak Wright. With PPP, are there any specific banks that are accepting PPP applications?
So at this point, it's hard to tell who is and who isn't. The best thing to do, if you go to our SBA.gov website, you'll find a portal for lender match. And when you pull up the lender match, you can put your information in there, and it will send it out to all the participating banks in our network. And banks that are interested in doing PPP still will reach out to you.
Okay, this is from Tanya. Will being forgiven for one affect if the other would be forgiven? PPP versus EIDL.
So I'm not sure I understand the question. I think you're asking if, so PPP is the only one that is forgiven. EIDL is a loan that you make payments on. Did I understand that question right?
I think so, yes. I read it how it was written.
Okay.
But we were told in the beginning for the EIDL loans that you would get a $1,000 grant per employee.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So those funds are exhausted now, but you could get up to $10,000, up to $1,000 per employee, $1,000 per employee, up to $10,000. So that portion, if you got that money, that portion would be deducted from your PPP funds at time of forgiveness. So if you got $50,000 in PPP funds and you got $10,000 in the EIDL grant, then $40,000 is all that would be forgiven.
Okay. From Lynn, is it true that owners less than 30% payroll is excluded from the forgiveness?
I don't understand the question. Is it true that owners under 30%?
Yep.
Are,
I think it's under 30% payroll is excluded from forgiveness.
Under 30% ownership?
Lynn, can you unmute yourself and
Yeah. If they're
yeah.
if they're a 25% owner.
Yes, that's what she's asking.
You
yeah,
want to know if it.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case.
Mm-mm.
And we answered all of Tanya's question. Does anyone else have any questions? Oh, here we go.
I have a question. I just couldn't type fast enough. This is Tom.
Okay.
Okay, so here's my question. I'm a very small business restaurant owner, and it's just me working right now and a chef because my wait staff, one of my wait staff can't come back because she works in a hospital and then works for me. And so she's already, due to COVID constraints, she can't come back. And then my other wait staff can't come back. And I haven't been able to hire anyone. So I'm working full-time as an employee, but I don't pay myself any other way except for these wages. Are you saying, I know they're saying owners cannot be included as being part of the payroll, but what if I'm actually one of the workers because I have to keep my place going? Are you saying I can't pay myself? And
yeah, you can pay yourself. If you paid yourself through payroll prior?
No. Well, yes, for one role, but not for the other one. Not as a waitress, but I'm waitressing now. So, and I can't.
Yeah, I mean, you can
get someone to start.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, if you paid yourself through payroll, owners can continue to pay themselves.
No, I know. I'm sorry. I guess I'm asking my question incorrectly. I can continue to pay myself, but that doesn't count as a number for forgiveness as an employee, correct?
So could she give herself a raise?
Could you give yourself a raise? That I'd have to look into. And so if you have our email addresses, can you email us and we'll look in, that's kind of a unique scenario you're in, so I want to make sure we're getting you the right info. I think you can, but we'll have to dig through it and find out.
Okay, so those are two different questions. So I will email you because I just want to make sure. It seems a little, yes, unique. That's the right.
So Tanya, when you got the loan, you took into consideration when you applied the 2 employees that can't come back, correct? So that was.
Well, I didn't know that one of them had COVID at the time when I took the loan. So I've got one who.
Not going to be held responsible for those FTEs because you fall under one of the safe harbors, which is you have employees that you counted in your FTE who cannot come back due to.
Correct. Yes.
COVID. Yep.
Okay. Well, that leaves like me and my chef, but I was told that the owners don't count.
No, I don't think that's right.
No,
Let's get your info and we'll look into it.
Okay. Thank you.
Can you and Catherine put your email addresses in the chat box?
Yeah.
Too?
Yep. Kathy, can you put mine in for me?
Thank you.
Can.
Yep.
So I have 2 questions from Regina. She's asking if we can revisit the $1,000 per employee grant. She wanted to make sure that the grants are exhausted. She got an EIDL recently, but didn't get the $1,000 per employee. And then, hold on guys, I lost mine. She's in the same situation as Tanya and can't get people back. So I'm doing all the work. Can you make the we'll make the information available to everyone afterwards.
Yep, we can do that. And the grant money was exhausted, I want to say like 2 weeks ago. So that money is no longer available as part of a grant. You can still get EIDL money, you just won't have the FAST grant.
And then Maria asked, I thought there was a limit on income in total, $100,000, but not on individuals.
Well, on individuals, yeah, you have to cap the salaries at 100,000 when you're doing your payroll calculations or your PPP determination.
And then Julie Hoops asked, how do I prove that an employee would not come back to work?
So there's way, if you go to sba.gov/PPP, there is language in there that shows you what you need to prove that an employee would not come back.
All right, so Yolanda from Meadowbrook Learning has a question. Yolanda, can you unmute yourself?
So my question is, can we apply for additional PPP funding? I heard you mention something about that earlier.
Not at this time. So you've already got a PPP loan?
Yes.
Yeah, not at this time. I know there's, you probably see it on the news too, they're talking about potentially opening that up, I think in a targeted manner to businesses that need more, but at this time, no.
Okay. Thank you.
So Regina asked, that's $100,000 per employee, max per employee for the PPP is $8,333 per person.
I think that's if you take it out 24 weeks. If you take it out 8 weeks, it was 15,000 something. Is that correct, Brian?
Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly the calculation is, but I know that you would take, if you have an employee that makes $150,000, you would cap them at 100 and figure out the calculation based on that number.
So Pam said 941 employer portion and 940 are not applicable on the forgiveness portion, correct?
941, I'd have to look that up. We can look that up and get back to you. I believe that's correct. You can also find that on sba.gov/PPP. It's spelled out in there what you can and cannot count.
Okay, I think I got all the questions Did I miss anybody? If I missed someone, please unmute yourself because I've been scrolling through all this, so I don't want to, well, we got these guys on the phone.
And you know what, I just add real quick that while you're trying to figure out what does and doesn't count, if you haven't got the money yet and you're looking to apply, your bank or lending institution will help walk you through that.
Stress that you are doing more duties, use employees could not come back. You could pay yourself at employer rate and normal rate, I believe, for the PPP forgiveness.
Yeah, we're gonna check on that.
Okay.
Well, ooh, Tanya to everyone. She's paying people and they're also claiming unemployment. Is that allowed?
That'd be an issue you take up with the state.
Yeah.
It seems like probably an
office.
unemployment violation, but it would be a state issue.
Okay. All right. So Lynn wrote back, I had heard that owners of businesses. Lynn, why don't you unmute yourself and then you can ask them the question. Lynn, are you still here? Did she leave me? Okay, she must, there she is. All right, oh, she can't unmute. All right, let me see if I can I can't unmute her either. Okay, because she doesn't have a microphone. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna try this one more time. I had heard that owners of businesses, regardless of the ownership, that earned wages during the previous year and earned wages during the 24-week period are excluded from forgiveness.
No.
No. Okay. All right, I think what's still like a little. Regina was asking would still like a little more information on how to use the money for independent contractors. This has been super vague.
So that's not an eligible use of PPP, but the independent contractors themselves can apply for PPP. Isn't that correct, Brian?
Correct.
So you wouldn't use the independent contractors in your calculations for how much you would qualify for, but that
actually
person,
I think what she's saying, oh, sorry, go ahead.
If someone is an independent contractor and receives PPP money, it's very vague on what you can and can't use it for, because normally if you're an independent contractor or sole proprietor, somebody pays you, you just deposit the money and then pay your bills. You don't normally write a formal check to yourself, from yourself. So I think that's what the gal earlier was asking, and I know for myself and a couple other people, we're all still kind of scratching our heads.
Yeah, well, you would just use it, so you would use it to pay yourself. So in an instance where an independent contractor doesn't have a building or rents or mortgages, you can use it to pay yourself, the entire sum.
Okay, so if I'm an independent contractor, I would write myself a check and deposit it and show that I wrote myself a check?
Yeah, I don't even know if you need to go that far. I mean, it's going to go into your account and then
you just pay your bills with it like you normally would.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Thank
so
you.
Sydney is going to unmute and she has a question.
This is just kind of an interesting thing that happened. I'm wondering if you are applying again for an SBA loan, and because now they've opened up the process, are they asking for additional information like background checks?
No. For PPP?
No, it'd be for the grants.
For
maybe if I could talk to one of you offline after, that it would be really great. I had something happen and I wanted to ask about it.
Sure. Posted,
Sydney.
I posted our emails on the chat.
Okay.
Yep, just shoot us an email and with your phone number and one of us will call you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, are there no more questions?
I don't have any in the chat box.
Okay, well, are you hearing feedback?
No, I am not.
I'm sorry, this is just the weirdest thing ever. So thank you so much to Kathy and Brian for joining us today. We really appreciate it. This has been really valuable. I apologize again for the technical difficulties that we've experienced.
Oh my gosh, so sorry.
I think we threw Zoom for a loop today.
Somehow, I'm not sure how, but Zoom failed us a little bit today. But anyways, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We did record the call. We will make it available. I know Kathy put her email address in there and Brian's as well. Please feel free to reach out to them with further questions. We're working on putting together more of these, so stay tuned with that. And I know the governor has another press conference this afternoon at 2. So if there are any more executive orders that come out with changes, we will also certainly bring back our attorney, Brad Lambert, to help us navigate through those as well. So stay tuned for further information. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And thank you again, Kathy and Brian.
Thank you for having us.